Hi, I'm Bob Waugh from WHFS in Washington, D.C. And late last year, I talked with Atlantic recording artist Tori Amos about the follow-up to her album Little Earthquakes and her plans for 1994. Tori, your new album, and at this point, does it have a title?
Yes, Under the Pink.
Because I'd heard it was going to be called God with a Big G.
Yeah, well, I like the whole big G concept, but I just didn't want it. I mean, everything seems to be religious sometimes when it comes to me and my work. And this record is like, got a few more things than just religion in it. Only a few, but Under the Pink. The way I see it, if you ripped all our skin off, we're all pink. And this is about what goes on under that.
The first single in America is going to be a song called God. People still have a stigma about it having anything to do with religion. And the lyric in God is pretty simple. It's just, God, sometimes you don't come through.
Right. Do you need a woman to look after you? God, sometimes you just don't come through. Which I think he could totally dig that. The concept of God, my concept of the Creator isn't male or just female. Just is the key word here. It's an energy, it's a force that doesn't exclude any kind of gender, you know. I think it's so beyond gender. But what we've been taught to believe is that God, whether in Christian or Judaism or Islamic or many of the others, it's a very male, patriarchal system. And, you know, this patriarchal system hasn't done so great in the last few thousand years. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how we can say that it's succeeding. I think that we've got to kind of look at really where we are. Things aren't getting better. I don't know. I don't see why people are uncomfortable just to speak the truth.
God, sometimes you just don't come through. God, sometimes you just don't come through. You need a woman to look after you. God, sometimes you just don't come through. You make pretty daisies, pretty daisies. Down, down, down. I gotta find sign what you're doing about things here. The fuel which is burning gets a little toasty. What do you know? What do you know? I gotta find why you always go when the wind blows. God, sometimes you just don't come through. God, sometimes you just don't come through. Do you need a woman to look after you? God, sometimes you just don't come through. Well, tell me you're crazy, maybe then I'll understand. You got your 999 in the backseat, just in case. Oh, hey, you've gone south, well, baby, love your new folk. Hey, what do you know? I gotta find why you always go when the wind blows.
And if God did want to send his quote-unquote only son, which is a joke, what do you mean only son? It's like, so he picks a certain race and a certain kind of color to be his only son, and yet created all of us? No, that's not gonna happen. That's how the story goes, but I don't believe the story.
God, sometimes you just don't come through. God, sometimes you just don't come through. Do you need
call that God the little g, because the God that we've been quote-unquote worshiping is not, to me, the supreme creator. Anybody who needs to control and make people feel shamed and, has to... This is the whole thing. It's like, I send my only begotten son. Well, that concept of sending a son where we as women could, breastfeed him and give him milk, but he's not going to soil his dinky with us. What's that all about? That really bugged me. The whole concept that Jesus was, not going to make it with a babe. What, that's going to make him more holy?
Way to go, Mr. Microphone. Show us all what you don't know. Centuries, secret societies. He is our commander still. Space still.
There's a lot more instrumentation on this album than there was on Little Earthquakes, and a lot of dissonant noise and some very strange sounds.
That's Eric being demented. He produced this record. He had a piece of styrofoam on the bottom keys of an electric piano. There were cans of food on the strings. There's all sorts of stuff. And he would just go, Tori, check this out. And it was fascinating because the whole idea was working with the piano, but that's all coming from real instruments.
Have to ask you about Trent Reznor helping you out on this album. Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. First of all, what did he say to you about the Nine Inch Nails reference in Precious Things on your last album?
We didn't talk about it.
Do you think he was aware of it? Had he ever heard it?
Yes, he is. He's aware.
He is featured on a song called Past the Mission.
He's singing, and when I was writing the song said, I think Trent Reznor would be really good to sing on me. And I said, yeah, I'm sure you do. But I don't really know if that's possible. And the song said, it's possible. So just, make it happen. So I met him, and I went up to the Sharon Tate house.
Which he is renting in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, you have to go through a bit of security to get in. And it's a very spooky house. Knowing what it is and then walking, and you look in the Helter Skelter book and you just see the house, and it's like, yeah, that picture. He'd be showing me the pictures and going, see this door? I go, yeah. I see the door. This is where they have the control room where Sharon Tate passed away, and it's just weird that when I was a young kid and we'd see the pictures in the book, I had no idea I'd ever be standing there. And standing there with Trent, it's kind of even goofier. He was, I think, wonderful for this.
Past the mission, behind the prison tower. Past the mission, I once knew a hot girl. Past the mission, the closing every hour. Past the mission, I smell the roses.
People, upon hearing the news that you had done something with Trent Reznor, I think, to a large degree, were surprised by that. But really, anyone who knows you knows that you are a huge Henry Rollins fan. You covered Nirvana as a bonus track when Little Earthquakes was out. You've described your musical influence last time I talked to you, I think, as a bowl of minestrone, and that's really what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, just because you're a piano player, I think people just have an idea of what that is. they've decided, they kind of have you figured out. You know, we've talked about you become like a cheese plate at Christmas. Everything gets laid on top of the piano, and it's not considered anything but really lightweight and background music, and it doesn't get explored a lot what it can do. I'm always challenged to try and take the piano and work with it in different ways. Like on this new record, I worked with a lot of loops because I found that fascinating, to have an acoustic piano working with industrial loops, but yet the piano doesn't change its personality or its character. It still stays an acoustic piano. It's the same girl that can just wear different dresses to the party.
Ever was a cornflake girl, thought that was a good solution, hanging with the raisin girls. She's gone to the other side, giving us a yo-heave-ho. Things are getting kind of gross, and I go at sleepy time. This is not really, this is not really happening. You bet your life it is. You bet your life it is. Honey, you bet your life it's a peel out the watchword, just peel out the watchword.
Want to talk about Cornflake Girl?
Yeah. This song, I read Possessing the Secret of Joy, Alice Walker, and the way that the mother sold the daughters to the butchers to have their genitalia removed. People are listening to this going, oh my God, can't she like have a Twinkie and get over it? Well, but this stuff it's not negative to me or sad. It's a very safe place to be able to talk about this stuff and also have a laugh. And we have a laugh during the record. There are moments of maybe it's a sick little laugh, but you know, it's a laugh nonetheless. And it's very freeing. Again, it's betrayal of women with women. I mean, guys can be pretty brutal. We all can be to each other. But women towards women is a pretty ugly thing. And it's done mostly in secret. So Cornflake is just the shock of she's gone to the other side. This is getting kind of gross, and I go, it's sleepy time. This is not really happening. You bet your life it is.
Where'd you put the key?